So do you remember when Trump was going to drain the swamp? He was running for the people, he's not running for the powerful. Hillary Clinton was the one representing Goldman Sachs and the bankers and the corporations and all the powerful people. And Trump was representing the little guy. Well, that was before he made Steve Mnuchin his Treasury Secretary, who is the former Chief Information Officer of Goldman Sachs. And he's just one of many Goldman Sachs former employees working for Trump. So Steve Mnuchin was out discussing the new tax plan, which, by the way, I'm not going to go into it. I wouldn't be a good person to break that down. I'll actually link to some YouTube videos below that do break down the new tax plan very well. But what I want to focus on is something Mnuchin said while he was giving his talk. So he was asked about, will Trump release his tax returns? This is a question that's come up constantly since Trump's been elected. Trump said he would release them once he got elected. Actually, Trump's given many excuses. He would show them once he's been elected. He would show them once the audit's finished. People don't want to see them. These are all various reasons why Trump has not released his tax returns. We all know that the real reason is because something is in them that he doesn't want to show. And this is a question that we need to keep asking because people do want to see his tax returns. We want to see his tax returns almost because he doesn't want to show them. When you're hiding something, you don't hide it because it makes you look good. Trump is not something to hide his tax returns because they'll make him look good. Trump is hiding them because it's going to show some damaging stuff in there. And until we see it, we're really just left to speculate what might be in those tax returns that he wants to keep so secret. But anyways, this is Steve Mnuchin responding to the question of will Trump release his tax returns?
My second question is, will the president release his tax returns so that
the president
Americans...
has no intention. The president has released plenty of information and I think has given more financial disclosure than anybody else. I think the American population has plenty of information on this. Right there, right?
Look how quick he was to push that question away. You don't do that when you have amazing tax returns. When you have tax returns that show you as a very charitable, brilliant person who has nothing to hide and has done no evil, and whatever the hell he's done, Trump is hiding in there. He's hiding something. Look how quickly Mnuchin pushes away that question. What are in those tax returns? What do you think are in those tax returns? Like, leave a comment, because it's clear something is in them, and they're desperately trying to hide it and move on to new scandals and new questions and doing anything to distract away from what Trump is hiding. And the most hilarious quote in there is when Mnuchin says, the president has released plenty of information and I think has given more financial disclosure than anybody else. Really? Are we stupid? He thinks we're stupid. We know that's not true. He hasn't shown his tax returns. So by default, he has not given more information than anybody else. He's hiding something. And I mean, whether we know he's hiding something, but regardless, look at his cabinet. Look at who's speaking for him. This is the former Goldman Sachs CIO. That's your Treasury Secretary. A guy who is a multi-billionaire, who is connected to the rich, who goes to cocktail parties. These are the people he knows. This is all he knows. He knows rich people. He talks to rich people. He talks to bankers. That's the world he's in. That's his bubble. Do you think he's listening to your problems and what you need done and a tax system that'll work for you? Come on. If that's your bubble, if that's who your company is, you're doing things and you have control over what happens in the system. You're going to do things to benefit your buddies. That's what he's doing. You can't trust this guy. You can't trust Mnuchin. You can't trust Trump. He keeps pushing this problem aside because he knows it'll expose Trump. And look, if you're a Trump fan, just imagine it the other way around. Imagine it was Hillary Clinton. Imagine Hillary Clinton was refusing to release her tax returns. They're all, by the way, they're all out there. You can see her. I'm not a Hillary fan at all, but you can see her tax returns from the past, I think, 30, 40 years. They're out there. But if you hate Hillary Clinton and think Trump is better, ask yourself, if Hillary Clinton was refusing to release her tax returns, kept making up these excuses, was putting Goldman Sachs employees in her cabinet, a former Goldman Sachs CIO as her Treasury Secretary, what would you think about that? How would that make you feel? Would you trust her still? Or would you trust her at all? So what makes Trump different? Why do you trust Trump? Why do you trust that Trump has your best interest in mind? Because he lied about it during his campaign? Almost every position Trump's taken both sides of. That's why a lot of people feel that Trump is talking to them, because they've heard Trump say what they want to hear that one time. But then they ignore the fact that the other times he was saying something else. That's why you have to look at who he puts in power in his cabinet. Who has power there? Goldman Sachs employees, Wall Street bankers, multinational corporations. That's who has power in the Trump presidency.